We are live with Joe De Hoyos.
Hey, Joe.
What's up, fellers?
Well, I'll tell you what's up, and I think I've done this one before, but I don't care. Look at that beautiful golden mead. It's called Voodoo Ranger, made by
Oh,
New
okay.
Belgium.
Okay.
New Belgium also makes Fat Tire,
Okay.
which is another great beer.
Yeah.
What you got, Brian?
So, I don't drink beer. So, I've been researching beer for people that don't like beer. And I ran across this place called Sierra Nevada.
Oh yeah, dude.
All right. It's not the one that was in the story that I read, but it was all they had. And let me tell you, it tastes just like beer.
Okay, that's a good thing.
That's
Hey,
not a
they
good
have a
thing
big-
for me, Joe.
They have a
No.
Bigfoot brew too.
So I tried it, and it was bitter beer. So I had to come back with my standby and go with the old Diet Dr. Pepper. So
Dr. Pepper.
this cannot do that beer taste.
What you got, Joe? What are you drinking?
I got the St. Arnold's lawnmower.
Oh yeah, that's a good one
Yeah,
too.
it's good. Yeah, my kids actually left it in there. My kids are not old enough to drink, and so
crazy, isn't it?
yeah, man,
Yeah, that was crazy.
they're all driving and working and buying a house and stuff like that. You know, my son just bought a house. I don't know if you ever met my son Shane or not, but yeah, I mean, he just bought a house, dude. So
Wow.
that's weird.
Wasn't he in the
Don't-
Marines?
He's still in the Marines, yeah.
Still
He's
in the Marines. Cool.
Still in the Marines, yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we got Joe on. Joe is actually a founding father of the SBA clan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of people know that, do they?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah. I was once on Mount Rushmore of the SBA, but yeah.
You're still up there, Joe.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. You haven't took my my sculpture down.
No, we
No,
didn't take it
man.
down. No.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I
No.
appreciate that.
There's a chair up there if you ever want to come back and sit
Okay.
Exactly.
or whatever you want to do, Joe.
Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. I do. Before we get started, especially with Shane, you've been through with me last. I don't know how long have I known you? 4 years at least, maybe 5.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and, so you've always been there for me, and I always appreciated that, man.
Oh man, thank you.
Yeah. And when I left the Bigfoot world and left Facebook world, period, for almost 2 years, and then when I came back, man, you were like the first guy to call me on the phone, and then Brian, too, man. So I appreciate both you guys doing that, reaching out to me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So if anyone has any doubt about your guys' character, about the character of you two, y'all got a good character. So I'll stand by you.
Thanks,
guys
man.
anytime.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
that's cool. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Dang.
But not Dustin. I won't stand next to Dustin.
The
Where
little
is
turd.
Dustin? Where is
Turd.
Where? Yeah, you little turd. I'll never forget that.
Oh my god,
That was a great moment.
that's part of it.
Little inside joke for all of us, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Joe, man, tell me about Beyond the Woodline, dude, because I know that you've launched that, and it's looking like it's pretty good, doing pretty good too.
Yeah, man. I started Beyond the Woodline. It's a podcast just like you guys have, and we're on Facebook, on YouTube, and now Spotify and Anchor. There's a couple. Yeah, there's a couple. I think Google also picked it up. So yeah, man, we've been doing pretty good. Well, I say we, it's me, but I also have my co-host Shannon Rogers. She helps me out from time to time, man. She's really cool. What the show really encompasses is everything, what I call the big three, Bigfoot, UFOs, and paranormal. But we cover a lot of other stuff, everything from like remote viewing, spiritual stuff, alien abduction, stuff like that. We've had some pretty good guests on the show, man, and we got some pretty good lineup coming up. Everything from vampires to Santa Claus himself, man. I got Santa Claus coming on, guys. So just so you keep, yeah, man. I got the main crypto.
Fancy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
is
man.
the main one.
Yeah, man. I'm
my
gonna get him. He'll be on the 20th, and hopefully, when I start promoting that, people, can have their kids come on, and since the whole COVID stuff, maybe they can have them come on and tell Santa what he wants. Tell little Johnny can sit down and talk to Santa Claus on StreamYard.
I just want a Red Ryder BB gun.
I was gonna
You
say,
shoot your eye out.
yeah, forget Johnny. I'm coming on. I want to what I want. So I've been good all year. I mean, jeez.
But yeah, man, yeah, man, that's really taken off. So I'm really happy with that stuff. So
I like the show, Joe. You see me. I've checked in a couple times watching you guys, especially when Shannon's on because I like the paranormal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I know she's big into that field. So whenever I see you guys talking paranormal, I always try to jump on there you guys know I don't watch any shows. You know what I mean? I don't even go back and watch our own show, but if I see you guys talking, I try to catch that when I can. So
yeah,
it's been really good. So
yeah, I actually went on my first paranormal investigation with her in Mineral Wells. If you're familiar with that area, yeah, it's up near the Fort Worth area, I guess. Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. Nothing really exciting happened while I was there. There was a few small things, like one of the gentlemen there. He actually built his own spirit box. Are you guys familiar with the spirit box?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You kind of talk and it answers questions, and a lot of times, man, it's really freaky when the answers are accurate. So he was showing me his spirit box, and he was, going through all the little dials, all the bells and whistles on it, and he had it turned on, of course. And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna go upstairs and do a session." And I said, "Do you mind if I go up there with you?" And the voice came through the spirit box, "Come up," just like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man,
that's pretty cool.
I would have went home.
Yes. So that was pretty cool, man. So he goes, "Well, they said come up, just go on up." So we went up there and did a little session and
oh my god,
asked questions. And then he had this little toy. It was like a little penguin, and it had these little clear little fibers that came out the top of it. And if you touched it, the penguin would go off and make some little sounds and play music. And he sat it down in one of the rooms where there was like a little kid who had passed away in that particular room. And we were just kicking back, and I was filming it. And all of a sudden, the toy starts going off, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's
pretty
cool.
creepy, man.
Yeah. And then, we heard footsteps in some of the different rooms and stuff. But that was really the bulk of what happened with my experience there at that house, But
is that an empty house, or does somebody live in it?
It's the owners rented out specifically for that, for paranormal teams, and it's like one of the it's considered one of the most haunted places in the United States. I think it's definitely the most haunted place in Texas.
Mineral Wells.
Yeah, it's called the Haunted Hill House, and the owners, they just rent it out every weekend. That thing is booked. I mean, it's booked the rest of this year.
Is it like a B&B kind of thing, or?
Yeah. Basically, I mean, they don't offer you any kind of services other than they let you spend the night there and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's actually video, if you go to their YouTube channel, of some lady laying on the bed, because they keep the cameras in the rooms too, running at all times, and some lady was asleep in the bed, man. She gets pulled off this bed, onto the floor.
Hey,
what?
Yeah.
that might be a cool trip.
Yeah. And then the night before, because I showed up there on a Saturday, on that Friday night, one of the other women she was sitting on the top of the stairs, and she was doing this, a session, and man, you see her just get pulled down these stairs. It's like she was going down a slide.
Dang.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It'll be a little violent. So
yeah, you can get a spirit box. I know Amazon has some, but some of these paranormal teams, they actually build their own spirit boxes, and some of them sell them. So I would look into some of these teams.
Yeah, I've always thought about implementing some of that kind of stuff out there while we're out in the field or whatever.
Exactly, dude.
The hell of it,
Yeah. I forgot what camera they use to kind of pick up movement and stuff like that, but it works really well at night. So I forgot what kind of light they use. It's not a UV light, but
really?
if you look through, but if you look through it with a camera, I mean, it's almost as good as looking through it like something with that infrared technology. I forgot what kind of light it is. I have to look into that again. But when he showed me that, I was like, shit, I want to use that for the field.
Yeah, I know, right?
If because everyone suspects Bigfoot of being able to see the UV light, at least in that spectrum. I wonder whatever spectrum this light puts off, if they can see that. It might help out.
I just threw a camera out in the woods because I'm checking the whole when it takes a picture, the signal when it hits my phone. It kind of gives you all those stats too, and it's pretty good. But it's not in Oklahoma yet.
Okay.
But
Okay.
on the camera lens, you can really see the red ring. And actually, Paul Ragsdale pointed. I mean, I would have saw it eventually, but he was kind of on it and saw it, and I was like, I wonder if I cover that up, what would happen? You know, I might test that out too.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
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 Just the red part.
Yeah. Well, I've actually heard of some people covering up the UV part, for the night vision stuff with like a thinner film of some kind of clearer, like almost like a tint, so that the light doesn't show off too much. I've actually heard people doing that stuff. I don't know how
Good idea,
successful
too.
that is, but yeah. So yeah, that might work too.
Very
I
interesting.
wonder how much stuff we would get, Shane, if we took some paranormal equipment to Homestead.
Oh my God.
Cynthia Tarver had that deal. She posted an SBA, or she
Uh,
may have just posted on her page that
she sent me
audio.
some audio from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I think paranormal goes on in the woods.
Oh God, yes.
My friend Sean. I don't know if you know Sean Michaels, but he goes out with me from time to time, and he's got a recording where him and his girlfriend saw a tree structure, so they were hanging around it, checking it out, and he heard something go psst right in his ear, like psst.
Wow.
And another friend of mine, he's got a recording of someone saying nobody, just like that, nobody. I don't understand what that came from, but it was very clear.
Damn.
There's some
Yeah.
creepy stuff out there.
And then you never know
My
about the
running
footsteps
shoes
too,
on
right?
that.
I know we've all heard footsteps, so it makes me wonder
Yeah.
if it's all Bigfoot or just something paranormal.
Yeah. Very well
Stuff.
could be.
Rocks being thrown, sticks being thrown. Is it all Bigfoot? Or is it some of it's paranormal? And so some of the people that I deal with now, they've told me that they want to come out there and bring their equipment out there and do some EVP sessions or just do their ghost hunting things out there.
Yeah,
That'd
we've
be
been trying to
interesting.
team up with Mysterious State for a while to do such.
Yep.
What was I going to say? When we're out in the woods out there in bison and stuff, like we're way out there, and we've come across Model T parts,
Yeah.
and there's all kinds of remnants and pieces of past lives that have been out there in that area. So there's no telling what happened or what's left, residual, or I mean, who knows? So yeah, the woods are
up, too.
definitely haunted.
Well, it's just
Yeah.
like at Homestead, Shane. I don't know if you was there that day, but across from that cellar where that huge pecan tree is that we camp around, and we were probing and we found that, I don't know if it was metal or something, and we were digging it. I don't know if you was
Yeah.
there that day, and it was like 7 foot long and like 2 or 3 foot wide, and we started getting that it was like, man, is this like a coffin or something underneath the ground? And so we never went back to dig it up, but I've been wanting to. So because I mean it had the dimensions of what you think a coffin would be, and obviously there was a house there at one time with the cellars, and the way that land is kind of open right there. So who knows? Maybe that could be a really good hot spot, and that could be why Cynthia got that audio there. So
Yeah, what did you hear that Cynthia sent? She had like some music playing in the background.
I didn't hear the music one. It was something somebody talking, if I remember
Strange.
right. So, yeah, it's a weird place though. So
We got to get Joe out there, man. Joe, you trip out there in those woods. Crazy.
Man. Yeah. I've been wanting to try some other places out. I got a lot of invitations to do a lot of paranormal stuff. Next week I'm gonna try to go to Lafayette to a haunted bed and breakfast. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah.
heck yeah, that'd be
Hey,
fun.
what about as far as Bigfoot goes in Texas? What you been doing?
Yeah, I've got quite a few reports. I met this lady while I was living outside of San Antonio. Her name is Mary, and she keeps up with me all the time. One of her neighbors actually saw something. She lives out in the sticks too. She called me. She told me, she goes, one of her neighbors said that they saw something crawling around. It looked like it was on all fours, and that he didn't know what it was, but it was very big. And that's the same neighbor where previously she had seen something on the side of his house, and it was very tall, like 7, 8 feet tall. It was just big and black, and she saw it running back to the woods.
Wow.
So she said that that her neighbor called her. Like this was like last week when she told me that her neighbor called her and told her there was something crawling around out there on all fours and it was black. It was big and
So it's
black.
like this is like recent.
Yeah, yeah.
Man.
And her herself has actually found like a 2-inch track, a little baby track on in a she got like a dirt driveway, and she saw this like 5 years ago, and she says, when I saw it, I was like, what the heck's a little kid doing out here? There's nobody in her area has kids like that. They're all big kids. But at that time, she wasn't really thinking about Bigfoot on her mind. Until later on, she starts. How most people start listening to shows and doing some little bit of research, and all of a sudden they start finding all this stuff, and she's like, "Man, that's what that was,"
Wow.
Yeah, and she's heard like tree snaps. She's had rocks thrown at her. Yeah, she was walking her dog maybe a couple weeks ago, and she heard a branch snap. Yeah,
Man, that's another one of those properties I want to live on.
Yeah.
Just for like a couple of years or something.
yeah,
I'm sure my wife would appreciate that immensely.
yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Why not? Yeah.
Is she giving you the stink eye right now, Shane?
No, not yet.
Okay. Okay. All right. Just checking. So, if we see a shoe come flying across the screen and hit you in the head, we know what happened. So.
The old chancla. The old chancla.
The chancla.
There you go. But yeah, and part of the Lone Star Trail where I go down, and there's a creek. There's actually 2 creeks there that I like going down and checking out. A little further up from there, there was a hunter. He had told me he was walking down this trail, and there's like this big gully, and he said the whole time he was walking, he could hear something walking in the brush. He said he didn't know what it was, but he said he could tell it was on 2 feet, but he still wasn't certain. And then when he came out to this clearing, and it stepped out into the clearing, and he said that's when he saw it. He said it was just. He said it wasn't very tall, maybe like 6.5 foot tall. But he described it as one of the ones that looked like the chimpanzee type, with the big ugly face. Yeah, I think those are what the type 3 I want to say, or I don't remember what type those are anymore. I don't pay attention really, but
yeah,
kind of. Yeah. But yeah, that's what he saw, and he said that it just turned around, walked back into the woods. But he left. He said, "Man," he goes, "I never went back." He said he sold all his hunting equipment. He goes, "I'll never go back in those woods again."
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And so earlier this year, I don't remember if it was June or July, maybe even a little bit earlier than that. I was with somebody, and she was interested in the fact that I was interested in it. So she's like, "I want to go out there with you. I'm gonna go out there with you." I said, "Okay, I'll take you out there." I said, "I'm gonna take you to this area," because I hadn't yet been out there to where that guy had told me. I said, "I'm gonna go out there and check this area out." She said, "Okay." So we go out there. We get to that gully. We start walking down a little ways, and she stops. She goes, "Hey, did you hear that?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't hear nothing." She goes, "There was a growl." I said, "A growl?" And she goes, "Yeah." And before I could say anything, we heard a branch snap, and it was loud. I mean, it almost sounded like a rifle, just pow. And we looked over there, and she was just like, "What the hell was that?" Well, she didn't say hell. I'll be nice today. She's like, "What the hell was that?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, "But we're going back towards the trail, and as soon as we turned around, we heard a wood knock come from that direction where the trail was at." And she's like, "We're not going back that way." I said, "I'm not going near that where the branch snapped. That was, to me, that was more aggressive than the wood knock, But yeah. But that same area where one of those creeks is where I came across that little 8-inch track that I sent you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Let me get that up here real quick.
But that was the same area too where I found that 3-inch track maybe 3-4 years ago. I guess maybe about 3 years ago.
Let me get that real quick. Yeah, that was interesting. We love tracks. I think everybody loves tracks.
Yeah, and that whatever direction it came from, the only direction it could have come from was right from the brush, man. I mean, right behind me, 3 feet behind me was just thick brush. Who lets their little kids run around out there in that thick brush? And we've been through these creeks, and man, there's plenty of snakes in these creeks. My friend Sean almost stepped on 2 copperheads one day. We were walking on that same creek.
There we go.
Yeah.
So you got this, I dig that you put the Gatorade bottle, because you got a little bit of scale.
Yeah. That Gatorade bottle's right about 8 inches.
8 inches.
Yeah.
Let's look at this thing here. Yeah. You can see toe.
And I kind of think there was like another one that it kind of stepped over. If you zoom back out far enough, it looked like there's one like this, and then it stepped over it like that. That's what I kind of
like this
think.
way, going this way.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I kind of think, but who knows?
Do you think?
Go ahead, Brian.
I was gonna say, do you think that if you look up to the top right there, where it looks like there was toes there, Joe, do you think that could be Knuckles?
Let me see. I didn't really pay attention. You know what?
Oh, like right here.
Yeah.
You know what? That very well could be. You know, because yeah.
It looks like it was just
Ooh.
on all fours maybe, and it was just
Maybe it came out on all fours and stepped into its own knuckle print. Yeah,
that's what I mean.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
I could see four. I could see four humps.
Yeah.
I see that. We got this one, that one, and that one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And you think about it, your middle finger would probably make that big one.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, that's pretty good observation there.
And that sand right there, I'm familiar with that. That's out there at Sam Houston National Forest, right?
I actually got video of me standing in that same sand, and I didn't even leave an impression in it, just a surface impression. You know?
That's what I'm saying about this sandy stuff. It's so hard to put a print here in Texas.
Yeah.
The red stuff in Oklahoma, it's hard to put a print in that crap. I don't care what you say.
Yeah. Unless you're like in a muddy area, that's one thing. But
and then it goes up to your knees or whatever.
Right.
It's crazy.
But me and Sean have actually been out into some muddy areas where even us, grown as men, weren't even able to sink into the mud that deep, and we found some pretty good prints, that were deep, like ankle deep for me.
Hey, Joe, I'm going to say this is a pretty damn good picture, man, of a footprint.
Yeah.
Because usually it's kind of hard to tell, but I mean, you can really see where the toes were, the tippity dudes. That's cool.
And I know we kind of chatted before about our mistakes and errors that we make, or just our little silly shit that we sometimes do. One thing I'll never do again is walk out there without my casting material.
Oh yeah.
I mean, dude, that stuff is heavy to hawk. To pack around with you got your casting material, and I always carry like 3 bottles of water with me. And dude, when you're going out there, it'll wear you down a little bit.
I know.
And but I don't ever go out in the woods anymore without it. I said I'm taking this stuff with me.
Brian and I, and a couple of others, missed a really good opportunity on Mountain Fork River on the bank where something similar in size, small, maybe smaller.
Yeah, it's smaller. I think it was about 5 inches.
About 5 inches. Damn, man, that was crazy. Anyways, it walked down the bank. We had no casting material. We could have had a baker's dozen of them things.
Yeah,
Really?
and we were nowhere near any place to get.
Hell no.
Oh, yeah.
We were in canoes and kayaks.
Water moccasins everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have sent you the video because I'm actually standing, behind that print, and behind me is just nothing but brush. There's nothing but brush behind me.
Yeah. So basically, is there a little kid just walking around out there? What's 8-inch foot? What's the age of that kid? Maybe be
Maybe middle school.
middle school.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just don't. Just like that day we saw the little prints on the bank. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's all in context too, of of where you are. You know what I mean? Like Joe knows this place, just like we know our area.
Mhm.
We saw that little track. We know there wasn't a little kid walking down there.
Oh,
You know
hell
what I
no.
mean? It'd just be impossible,
Right.
So, and who would let their kid with a 5-inch foot walk through all them briars and stuff like that along that? I mean,
The crappy
not-
parent.
I was gonna say not any decent parent for sure.
Right, right.
I don't
Yeah.
know if you can make the kid do it. So.
And in this area, man, there are some thorns back there that'll stick you good. I don't care how tough your jeans are, man. They'll get you, man.
Man.
They'll get you. But
That's a
I
cool
really
pick.
like this.
I like it.
I dig it.
yeah, I like the fact that you talked about the knuckle print. That could very well be a knuckle print.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems I don't know what else that could be other than toe drag. But if it was toe drag, it'd be
We go in the same direction, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
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 It would have like some kind of weird gimp or something, you know.
It definitely looks like it stepped on top of whatever it left before, right before.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. So
That makes a lot of sense.
Crazy. Man,
Yeah,
you
I
got
can
a
look-
2-for-1 special there, Joe.
I was gonna say I can look at this kind of stuff all day. So
I know, this stuff's awesome.
Yeah, and like I said, I had that when I found that 3-inch print. I let that guy that I was with talk me out of taking a picture of it. You know, I don't know why I let him talk me out of it. He was like, "Nah, man, no, that's not what that is." You know, but he was freaking out. He already had a bad day because he had heard some wood knocks. You know, and we had a stick thrown at us, and so he was like he wasn't having it anymore. And I think when we found that footprint, that was it. He was like,
We're getting too close.
"Yeah, we gotta go, yeah." So.
Well, that's a great find, man. I dig it.
yeah, I like it too.
Good job, Joe.
Thank you, Mike.
I mean, I know when we went out there, that was the first time I ever went to do that, period. Was to go look for being the presence, look for, listen for Bigfoot was when I met Joe, October 2017, maybe?
No, it had to be before that because I got my divorce in 2017.
2016?
I was thinking about that. I think it might have been 2015, dude.
Dang,
Yeah, I think it might have been 2015.
man.
Yeah, because that's when that's 2015 is when I went out. It was like in October 2015 when me and you went out the first time. Yeah, that was a pretty cool night.
That was pretty cool. That was the only time I've ever heard wood knocks. Was that
Really?
trip?
Dude, yeah, and I got some really good recordings off of that too. You know,
Nice.
and whatever was doing those wood knocks, I don't know. You know.
Well, dude, it was just weird that you remember the hunter showed up?
Yeah.
Over there, guys?
Mhm.
He stayed the night. He got up in the wee hours.
Yeah.
I heard him because I heard him slam his door and start his truck. That's
Right.
what woke me up.
Right.
And as he's pulling off, I start to hear the knocks as he's going all around. Almost like, hey, he's gone. Or, hey, it's just that dumb guy working that little bitty tent.
Oh yeah, your famous little tent,
I remember that little tent.
yeah. Little Spider-Man tent.
Spider. I wish it was Spider-Man.
That was so hilarious.
Oh, I've got more grief for that tent. Hey, I still have it.
Do you really?
Hey, if it works, right?
If it works. Yeah. I have many tents now that are way bigger than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. Yeah. Cool, man. Yeah, man. It's just I've been checking out this other area, and I've got some pretty good grunts. I don't know what the hell they are. They're not pigs. They're not deer because I've heard them right up close and personal. In the same area, my other buddy goes out, Kimbo, and he's got a pretty good. I don't know if I sent you that recording of the owl.
Yes.
Remember that? Yeah, I think I sent you that. I don't know if you ever showed Brian, but we need to send that to Brian too. It's just the owl. The owl goes hoo hoo hoo, and all of a sudden you hear that hoo 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 hoo, just like that, man. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's like
Yeah.
big old 400-pound owl. Yeah.
That's a big owl.
Yeah.
It's so big it can't even fly.
Yeah.
Runs around the woods like a big chicken.
There you go. Yeah. We've got some pretty good recordings out of that area. You know, the footsteps. He's got some pretty good footsteps. Come around his camp. You know, yeah. That particular road, it's one of those roads you just drive down and wherever you want to camp, you just camp. You know, and that's what we do out there. We just pull over. There's a couple little clearings where you can actually camp at, and nobody comes around there. You're like the only one out there.
Mm-hmm.
So one night he's out there, and his Jeep pulls up, maybe 100 yards down the way from him, and it was like the first time he had ever seen anybody out there. In the middle of the night, that Jeep wasn't even there that long. They got there like at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. He said like at 2 o'clock in the morning, the Jeep takes off, you know? And right about sunup, here comes a truck. It's a U.S. Marshal. And they go to that camp, and the guy's getting out, and he's walking around. He walks around in the woods a little bit, comes back to his truck, and takes off. Well, he's sitting out there, and his other truck pulls up. He said it was a real nice truck, you know, He's and they come all the way up to his camp, and they're like, "Hey, you mind if we come to your camp?" He's like, "No, go ahead," So he lets them in. Excuse me. He lets them in, and it's two young kids, maybe in their early 20s, and they start just chit chatting. And the kid asked my buddy, "Hey, do you believe in Bigfoot?" And he was like, "I don't know." He didn't know who this kid was, but he's like, "I don't know." He says, "There was a U.S. Marshal out here earlier looking for Bigfoot. It ran off some campers."
Whoa.
Yeah.
Pretty
So
cool.
so come to find out, I asked around, and actually the U.S. Marshal has jurisdiction there in the forest.
Really?
Which I didn't know. Yeah, they have jurisdiction, and so that's what he was out there doing. And I'm reading the comments. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't say the same as the forest. That's where I mainly go. So yeah, the kid tells him that his dad is actually like I want to say, I don't remember if it was in the game warden, or maybe the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
That he was high up in the Rangers, and he told him that in that area that's where a lot of sightings took place at. So I think we kind of hit a good spot there. That was a pretty good story, man.
Do you remember that? I think it was either first. I think it was might have been the first night we were there. That guy showed up to our camp, and this dude like takes off 3 months out of the year or something like that.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy Gibson. Yeah.
Man, that dude's got some great stuff going on.
Yeah.
By himself for days at a time.
Yeah. And he says he stays out there in the woods, like I said, for days at a time. Yeah. He has pretty.
He even had a coyote carcass thrown at him.
Yeah, right across the hood of his truck.
Right across the hood of his truck.
Right. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Throws coyote carcasses.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The Roadrunner did it.
Yeah.
There you go. There's a big road runner.
He said acne on the coyote.
Yeah. Maybe had a rocket pack strapped to him.
Yeah. Had X's on his eyes.
Crazy stuff, man. So what else is going on crazy with you? I know that you kind of dabbled in with your show. You're like kind of getting into the paranormal aspect. What about the UFO stuff, man? Because I tell you what, I've got a couple of clips myself I want to send you, man.
Yeah.
Fellas have seen it, but I think you should see it because it all happened this year in a matter of just a couple of months apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I got one the other night. It was real weird. So
Yeah, you did.
yeah, real weird.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, I've talked to quite a few people who've actually been who've had abductions, and they've got some crazy stories. And it's funny, a lot of the times these people, they everything they say, the other person's saying it. Like the lady from Ireland, she talks about the ship that she was on, and there's a guy in California talks about the ship that he's on, and they're describing the same ship. No seams, everything looks like it was just like one big mold. There's no rivets, no nuts or bolts or anything.
Man, they bought that ship at Sharper Image.
There you go. Yeah, I think they did. I have a couple of people tell me that that when the ship took off, they could see right through the floor.
Right to the bottom.
Yeah, and they could see the Earth getting smaller and smaller.
Oh, what you got, Disney?
Yeah,
Disney didn't have nothing on that.
Yeah, man, and they even said that they couldn't feel it. Like you're in an elevator or even in an airplane, you can feel you going up and down. They said they couldn't even feel it. Yeah, but
Wild.
yeah, I don't know if I ever told you the story about the UFO that I saw out in Galveston.
No.
Yeah, me and my ex-father-in-law were out there fishing, and he's standing a little bit to my right, and he's like, "Hey Joe, look, what's that?" And he points up to my left, and I look, and there's this big old saucer just floating right in the sky, right above us, maybe like 300 feet above us, going from our left to our right, and we couldn't even hear it. It had no lights, nothing, just right above us.
Was it daytime or?
No, it was at night.
At night?
It was at night. It was a clear sky. I mean, it was just right above us, And like I said, it was just running smooth, almost like it was on rails. There was no wobble to it. It was going so slow. I don't know if we have any planes that can go that slow and stay in the air. You have to maintain an airspeed. And a couple of miles down, you can hear like there's there's an airfield there, and you can hear those planes coming in. You know, they're the little bitty planes, single engine planes. You can hear them buzzing into the landing strip. This thing was right above us and made no noise, just cruising along, man.
I had something years ago that kind of reminds me of that a little bit, but this was out by an Air Force base here near Oklahoma City, and it was at night, and I was getting on the highway, and it was super late, and I was just a couple of cars getting on there, and this on-ramp has kind of got this curve to it, you know, so you got to kind of go slow when you're getting on, and I saw this light come down, like right in front of my vehicle, and I thought, man, what in the world's that? So I stuck my head out the window and looked up, and only maybe less than 100 feet was this, like a helicopter, but it was just quiet. Didn't make a single sound. But it was, I mean, you could tell it was man-made, you know, like it was ours, but it was weird. It had no lights on it, you know, not, like airplanes have the white light and the reds and greens on the wings and stuff like that. Didn't have none of that, but it had a spotlight come down, and when I looked out, they turned it off, and I could just see the outline of it, and it had a propeller, you know, like a helicopter spinning, but I couldn't hear anything. It was really weird. So, but that was right next to the base, like when you get on the highway, the base is on one side of the street, and you're on this side of the street, so you're right on the edge of the base, and you're kind of going off to get on the highway. But that was probably, man, that had to be 15, 20 years ago, probably when I saw that. So.
Okay, so our neighborhood is right by Spinks Airport, which is a private airport, and not too far from us is, of course, DFW International Airport, whatever. We see planes all the time. Small, little, commercial. Yeah, you've got the lights blinking. I mean, come on, air traffic control is a tough job, and it's like very dangerous up there, right? All the right signals have to be working all the time. So the two things we saw in the sky this summer resembled nothing of what we usually see. One was during the daytime. It almost looked like a huge aluminum balloon in the sky. They kept flashy. It was kind of flashy.
Okay.
It was way up there past the commercial flights. And if we could still see it, that had to be pretty big.
Yeah.
It stayed there for about 10, 12 minutes. And I ran home because we were at the pool. This is at my neighborhood. So like I'm running home to get the binoculars. Usually we drive down there, but we walked. So by the time I got back, my wife and the kids said it was gone. And then the second one.
So there you are at the pool with some binoculars. What a perv.
I know, man. I know.
Just a regular Tuesday for Shane.
Parents are grabbing their kids. Let's go, guys. This guy's got binoculars.
No, he took it too far. No, but then one night we're in our backyard. It was our anniversary, actually, because we were out there celebrating, dancing on our deck, having a good time. And I'm already looking in the sky because we already saw what we saw. I'm always looking in the sky.
Right.
It's kind of boggling my mind here, but dude, I was looking in the sky. I watched it come into view. It was a sphere. Came in like a J, and as it came in like a J, it appeared. It was orange. Almost looked like a Christmas tree light. And and you can hear it in the video, my wife going, it looks like a Christmas, because we were both looking at it. Well, it started to go past my house, so I ran. You can hear me running on camera in the dark through my back fence, and I caught it in my street, and I was watching it. And the same way it came in, it went out. It took a 90-degree turn north, but with a curve, and just disappeared. No sound.
Yeah.
I don't know. I barely have enough room in my brain for Bigfoot.
Exactly.
You should have grabbed your binoculars or maybe left them at the pool that time.
Yeah, it was like a sketch. It kind of looks like me down at the pool with a guy with binoculars.
I'm looking for UFOs, right?
Looking for UFOs. Oh my God.
Jen probably done took his binoculars. She was tired of getting embarrassed.
I know, right? I wouldn't blame her for that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
But you mentioned the big silver looking balloon. Someone sent me a picture today of something that looked like a big silver balloon up in the sky.
Dude, the only way it could be a balloon, it would have had to have been two balloons tied tight together on top of one another,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe moving like this and glimmer and glimmer. But the glimmering was almost like a light too. So it was just strange, man. And if it grabbed my wife's attention, who's very ground walking type lady, like if
Right.
it's not real, then she don't want nothing to do with it. It's got her attention, and she told me. I was like, ooh.
Trying to see if I can pull up her picture.
Oh man, I poured it too fast. Look at that. Freaking amateur.
Party foul.
I'm gonna send it to you, Shane. Maybe you can display it.
Oh, you know I can't.
Yeah, we won't go there. We won't go there.
Display it, man.
Okay. Yeah. It's a bad choice of words.
Oh my
Sent it to
goodness. You sent it to me?
Yeah.
How did you send it to me?
On Messenger.
All right.
And it's something I just got today. So yeah, check it out.
Oh,
The
see
suspense is
what's
killing me.
doing. Oh shoot! Hang on a second.
Oh no, that's the wrong
Yeah.
picture. Don't display that one.
That was private, Shane.
Man, I don't know about you, but this picture only has a big bunch of Curly Jeffersons in it.
Well, it ain't mine.
Oh my god! Hang on, I'm gonna blow this up. It's not Curly. Hang on.
You're gonna blow it up, huh?
Magnify.
That doesn't say a lot about me.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, this looks pretty much exactly like what we saw in the daytime. Because I had my phone and I was zoomed in. You know those phones are crappy.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jen?
Yes.
Yeah,
What is that?
that's a picture that someone sent to Joe.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was way too high, like to be
Yeah.
like.
That's it, man. Where was this taken at?
I don't even know where the lady's from. She told me. I don't remember where
Probably
she's
lived
at.
on the next street from me or something.
There you go.
Exactly.
She lives by Spinks Airport.
She lives by Spinks Airport.
No, I'm playing. I'm
Oh,
playing.
dude, I was fixing to freak out.
Got him.
Got
I
you.
know, man, that one. That lets you know just how much I'm into it. Like it's like really, you know.
She's Australian. She's
Excuse my
Australian.
cat, man. My cat thinks that he's a parrot.
She's Australian. She's from the north. She's from the Northern Territory.
Try to.
That's crazy.
Australia. That is
Yeah.
interesting. That is very interesting.
Almost looks like a hot air balloon.
Yeah. But was it stationary?
I didn't ask her that. Like I said, I just talked to her today. As a matter of fact, she's going to be on my show.
See, this damn thing wouldn't budge. It didn't sway. It was the whole time just shimmer. You know?
Can you blow it up any?
This? Yeah. It gets kind of pixely though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like super blurry.
Yeah.
That looks like me last week.
That must be Bigfoot. It's a flying Bigfoot. They do that too.
Bigfoot shit, they're blurry too, man. I don't know. But that is cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I'll dig up my videos, man. I'll send them to you, dude. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll send you mine too, Joe, that I got the other night.
Okay. Yeah. I like to see them.
Yeah, I was like happy when Brian sent that. I was like, oh, cool. I'm not the only one seeing stuff in the sky.
Weird stuff
There
everywhere.
is some weird stuff everywhere.
But you think about it, when we was in southeast Oklahoma and I ran into that game ranger who has been there for 25 years, and he asked me what I was doing. Of course, I always say I'm looking for Bigfoot. Have you ever seen it? Because I just like to get the initial shock factor on people, and see their reaction. And he looked at me and goes, well, I've never seen Bigfoot here, but if you want to talk about stuff up there, he's like, I got plenty to tell you. And I just said, well, I'm chasing Bigfoot right now. I ain't in UFO mode, so I'll get back to you on it. So
Yeah, no kidding.
yeah, so might be a guy we need to track down again. So I mean, he's in McCurtain County. So
Yeah. You know, me and Ernie were out one night. Actually, just happened to meet him twice. We're like at 2:00 in the morning. We're doing our thing. That's when he first built his parabolic. And yeah, well, we got an interesting story with that. He had just built it, and he brought it out. We were listening on it. Man, we could hear something breathing. It sounded like Darth Vader was breathing. And yeah, because his eyes got real big. Ernie, like, he called me over. He goes, man, listen to this. And you can hear this here. Just this big old heavy breathing. I was like, man, what the hell is that? So anyway, we went down one of the dirt roads back there. We're pulled over, and we're just listening. And here comes a freaking truck, man. It's a game warden. And when I tell people this story, they're like, game wardens don't work that late. I was like, I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. And so he gets off the truck, and he's like, what are you guys doing out here? And I just told him, so we're just listening to the sounds of the night. And he goes, y'all hear anything you're not supposed to be hearing? He just did like that. He had this big old smile on his face. I said, no. I said, like what? And he just did like that. And he just smiled, and me and Ernie kind of looked at each other and said, I know what he was talking about, And then he just made small talk with us, and he took off. And then a month or so later, we were down at that equestrian trail, and we were way down at the end of this sucker. It's like a 2-mile road, and I know it doesn't sound long, but when you're down 2 miles down a dirt road, and
I camped out there before.
Yeah, and you can barely turn your truck around in some of these places, And yeah, we were out there one night, and the truck comes up, man. Another game warden asked us the same thing, what we were doing out there. Really? I was like, yeah, it's like, so how did they find us out there, Yeah. So I always wondered, they got some kind of surveillance going on, or
I bet they do.
Or they're just tracking people, or
Well, I mean, they found dead body down there before an equestrian trail, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you go down like 2 miles, and there's a gate, and then further back there, they found
That's where they found the body?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know where the gate is? I turned left, because it kind of does this.
Yeah.
And it kind of creeps along with Conroe Lake, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So further down that way, I pulled off, and me and my buddy Jose, we camped over there for a weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time I went down that trail, I went with Brandon Garrett. As a matter of fact, he was taking me to one of his spots, and I had a flat, man, and so we couldn't get my spare off, so we had to come all the way back into Conroe to a discount tire and come all the way back. So we come back, and it's getting dark, and man, we hear this pop, 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 pop. It was a freaking tree that got pushed over.
oh wow,
And it was definitely something that got pushed over, and we just kind of looked at each other, and I said, was that for us? He said, I don't know. He said, hurry up and get that tire on. so we got the tire on. He says, so we went back, down to the equestrian trail. He says, I don't want to be back here at night because I didn't bring any kind of weapon with me. And at that time, I didn't have my license to carry. So we went down the equestrian trail. We're parked down that way, and we were hearing wood knocks, screams, and whoops. That was the first time I heard that much activity,
All right, dude. Hey, I've got something pulled up. I wanted to show you guys this too. And this is a trip. Now, back, let's see, when was this video taken? My son, Ethan, would watch my brother's kids at this apartment over in Crowley. Old apartment complex. Well, he would call me every day. This is not anything to do with aliens. This is going back to the ghost stuff, I guess you could say. Sorry. Mm-hmm. We're switching to ghost.
Paranormal switch.
Yeah. He would call me and say, Dad, there's a ghost in this apartment. And my nephew would also say the same thing. I was like, you guys are just messing with me. And I would come off of work and go pick him up. And one day, him and my nephew and my niece were all outside of the apartment waiting for me. They didn't want to go back in. And this is why. I'm going to share my screen. Boom.
I remember this.
You remember this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you may have said this to me back in the day.
I did. I called it Jeff's Ghost because that's my brother's name. So and it's done with an old phone. It's very pixely. This was years ago. This was like when he was in 5th or 6th grade. He's almost a senior in high school now. So, anyways, I'm just going to move it a little bit. Yeah, actually, I'll play it. But there was a cup. You see it? The yellow cup?
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically, they told me that yellow cup gets hit off the table. And I was thinking, well, someone hit that cup off the table. But if you look at it, it stays straight up. There's the next frame. Look, it's straight up, right?
Right.
And it should go to the right and hit the couch. Look what it does. Hang on. Boom. It's going around
And under the
and
table.
under the table. And then it lands down
wild.
there.
Oh wow. Huh.
And
I
it's
know.
sitting up, right?
Yeah. It's sitting up and then
Because you can see the shadow.
it goes rolling.
That's wild.
I thought that was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when you sent it to me.
Okay, so I did send it to you. All right.
Yeah. I remember that.
You know, it's funny you
We
said Jeff's Ghost. I had a friend of mine. He was my friend Angie's watching. She said so. Hi, Angie.
Sorry.
You okay?
Wow, you okay? You okay? You need the Heimlich or something?
That's what happens when you try to breathe in your beer.
So I
Continue.
had a friend of mine. He had a he was going to his father-in-law's house, and a few streets away, they turned down the street and they saw some people out in the front yard. They're fixing up a house or something, and he could tell they were contractors, basically, and they had a for rent sign sticking in the front yard. So him and his wife pulled over and they asked for the owner, and the owner's like, as Angie Mitchell says, hey, they ask about the house, and they go in there and they met the owner's daughter, and she's like, yeah, my father passed away. We're fixing up the house a little bit, and we're gonna rent it out. He said he thought it was kind of strange because they're only fixing up the kitchen. It's an older house, and you're only fixing up the kitchen because he didn't think too much of it. They came to an agreement on how much they wanted, to pay on the rent. So she told him, yeah, in 2 weeks you guys can move in. So 2 weeks later they're moving in. One of the neighbors from across the street comes over and says, hey, you got Jack's house, huh? He's like, I guess, I don't know who the owner was, and they told me, yeah, a guy named Jack was here. He passed away. He had cancer. He was terminally ill. He got to a point to where he just couldn't take it anymore, and he didn't want to suffer, basically, and so he shot and killed himself there in the kitchen.
Wow.
So they hadn't put anything up yet, and my buddy starts going through the cabinets, and he sees that there's a hole where someone spackled over it, So right away he starts messing with his wife. He starts flicking the lights off and all. Jack's gonna get you. Jack's gonna get you. And so he's still to this day. And this was many years ago, at least 20 years ago, because I've known him forever. And one day he came to work and he's like, "Hey, something happened to my daughter last night." I said, "What happened?" He says that they came into her room. She was only like 4 or 5 years old, and she was sleeping on a toddler bed. The toddler bed is maybe a foot off the ground, right? And she was laying face down. She was screaming. That woke her up. That woke them up. And they come into the room and they pick her up, and her front tooth is missing, right? But it's not just missing. Like the front part of her gum is like torn up, like the roots came out. So like her tooth came out this way. You know what I'm saying? So the
Yeah, like
roots,
from the roots down, like
Yeah.
flip out.
yeah, there you go. Like flipped forward. The roots did, and they tore up her gum pretty good. Because I remember when she was little, I remember seeing it. It was bad, and they couldn't find her tooth. Like, where's her tooth at? It should be right here. It was like 10 feet away, right? But even prior to that, they said that the ceiling fans were just like going fast, unbelievably fast. They had to turn it off and restart the ceiling fans. Basically, the thermostat would get turned down to like 60 degrees. The wife, before she would take a shower, she would like turn on her flat iron or even her regular iron to iron clothes when she got out. It would be unplugged. TVs would come off and on by themselves. So my buddy said one day he was home by himself. He was sitting in bed watching TV, and he said this dude just walks right across his doorway, right down the hall. Black coat, black hat, and he grabs a shotgun. He's just going through his house looking for this guy, and never sees the guy. Right. So a couple weeks later, they're talking, and his father-in-law tells him, I was walking his dog, and what his father-in-law would do is he would walk his dog past my buddy's street, down to the next street, and come back up around, back in front of my home, my buddy's house, and then go on to his house, just like one little loop around, whatever you want to call it. So when they were passing up his street, his dog started barking, and he looks down the street, and he sees this guy in a black coat and a black hat just standing in front of my buddy's house, looking at his house. So he walks around the street, and when he comes up, he sees the guy walking away from him. So he follows the guy, and the guy makes a right. So my buddy's father-in-law, when he gets there, which I know him too, that's who I work for. When he got to the end of the street and he looked to the right, he said the guy was gone.
Okay.
Yeah. So they had so much happen in that house. They didn't stay in it very much longer. But he always blamed himself. He said that he thinks he provoked something, or by turning the lights on and off and on, saying, "Jack's gonna get you. Jack's gonna get you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poking the bear.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So he says, he goes, man, I still blame myself for that.
I want to get more into the paranormal. I've been kind of avoiding it because of all my stuff that happened when I was young and stuff. So I've always tried to back burner it. Like some people that know me know the history of that. But I've been trying to talk to Renee, because Renee's had a lot of paranormal stuff happen to her. And I was like, man, we ought to start our own little 2-man team and start ghost hunting. Right. So I'm trying to get her to brave up and do it, because I think we might be able to get some interesting reactions with both of us, because I think both of us are fairly sensitive to that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm definitely going to say that Brian is a conduit.
I think so. I try to.
I haven't had like these huge experiences with him, but I've had enough. Like the whole your grandma YouTube thing.
Yeah, wow, that was wild.
I mean, Brian's a yeah.
So
if it's storming, don't stand next to Brian, because the lightning's going to hit him.
So yeah, I've been thinking about getting into that pretty hard. So we'll see. So I've already seen Bigfoot, so I got that off my list. So maybe try to capture some ghost stuff.
I want to dabble in this, I do, but I just don't want to bring anything home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause that's all my wife and kids need. Well, we do have 4 cats. They would probably let me know what's going on before anybody. But yeah, I'm so teeter-totter.
Join the dark side.
Yeah, I know people who actually, take the proper steps to make sure that doesn't happen to them, and it still happens.
Mm-hmm.
The people I had on today's show was talking about that, how here recently, about the last month or so, they've had stuff, happen in their apartment. Doors closing, footsteps. They said it sounded like someone's actually running down the hallway. And they think they brought something home, but so far it hasn't been like aggressive or bad or anything like that. Just more mischievous, or maybe just letting people know that we're around. I think they do that sometimes, and that in itself can be scary. Like when I was married, that's the house that we lived in, and it was just very. They were like in your face, basically. Like, hey, we're right here. Just letting you know we're here.
You would message me from time to time, telling me what was going on.
Yeah.
Like something sitting on your bed, maybe.
Yeah.
Like that.
I remember I thought it was my dog that was sitting on my bed, or trying to get on the bed, because he wasn't even allowed in the bedroom to begin with. So I would sit up real quick and be like, get your ass out of here. But
get out of here.
Yeah, but he wasn't there, and
you'd be like, I'm not going anywhere, Joe.
One night there was a big figure standing next to my bed. I won't say he was a big figure. I was laying down. He was tall. And it looked like a woman. It was dark.
Hey,
and, I've had that happen. So several times. Yeah. And what does Angie put? I've had stuff follow me home, but I just smudged the house. What does smudge the house mean?
Yeah, what is that?
That's with the where you burn the sage, basically.
Oh, okay.
It's like a big bundle.
Okay.
Different herbs and sage, and
All right, I heard the sage stuff. I just never heard it called smudge the house. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I burn herbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you do. I bet.
You sure
I bet.
do, yeah.
I bet that house is clean.
I don't know who's your Squatch is saying. Tell on the Bigfoot. I don't know if he's referencing
That's
my
a hint.
comment.
I don't
But
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
Angie's the one I'm actually going
Oh.
to try to go out there with in Lafayette next weekend or this weekend.
Oh, okay,
coming,
cool.
whatever. Yeah.
So Lafayette is a what? What kind of trip is it?
A little investigation,
For
paranormal. Yeah. But you know, speaking of all the weird, not weird. You know, I don't mean to say that, but all the weird stuff that we talk about on our show. I guess you know, one of it that being remote viewing. One of the guys that I had, he actually talked about. He's known people who remote viewed the Bluff Creek area, you know, about the Patty film, and yeah, he says that they come back telling him it's the real deal, you know, because apparently you can remote view into the past. You know, yeah. He's told me that they've remote viewed stuff on Mars from like 1 million years ago, the civilizations that were there. Yeah, man, remote, yeah.
What the hell am I
He's-
missing here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. So.
Yeah. Are y'all familiar with remote viewing at all?
Never heard of it.
Yeah, basically, there was a guy named Ingo Swann. He was really big on that. The CIA he actually worked for the CIA, and the CIA was heavily involved in that for years and years. And you can go to actually the CIA websites and look up all the.
Yeah, dude, I just typed in remote viewing, and there's a whole new world that just opened up that I didn't know existed.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Another wormhole to go down.
Yeah.
Man, that's
I
all
would.
I need, man. I'm still trying to chase the Bigfoot rabbit down its hole.
I bet you are. I bet you are.
Zing.
But yeah, man. He said that people have remote viewed Bigfoot, and they've told him that they could smell the smell and stuff like that. And yeah, so it's pretty interesting stuff. Yeah. So I asked him if he wanted to go Bigfooting with me. He said he's scared of Bigfoot, but
And you know what, man? You can't discredit folks like that at all because cops, FBI, you name it, man. Everybody's used some kind of psychic or
yeah,
some kind of practice of the mind, and we're able to solve a crime or,
right, yeah,
you know,
yeah. He's
finish a
on.
cold case or something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he's known people who have helped out the police with crimes and stuff like that too. Yeah. So
That's
remote
interesting.
viewing is it's something I've always been interested in too. You know, ever since I was a little kid, you know, I used to check out books, you know, that had. I couldn't ever find anything that just had Bigfoot. It had everything else in it. It had like Bigfoot, paranormal stuff, you know, UFOs, human combustion. I remember seeing that in this book.
Oh,
It was,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and there was a book I had one time that had remote viewing in it. So this is stuff that I've known for a long time, and I've always been interested in it. So I checked that out, and I found a group that did that, and I snuck my way in there and started chatting up with people, you know. Yeah, it's pretty
That's
interesting.
very
stuff.
interesting, man.
Yeah.
What a great
But
topic.
but like I said, one of the most famous guys, his name was Ingo Swann, and a few years ago, all this stuff was on YouTube. But I think his family took all that stuff off now. But yeah, he's talked about remote viewing the other side of the moon, and there's like an alien base over there, and he went into their complex, whatever you want to call it, their building, and they knew that they were being remote viewed, and it freaked him out, and so he got out of there really quick. But yeah,
Of course
Ingo
they
Swann,
do.
Yeah.
I mean, we're small potatoes,
Right.
you know. Higher life forms.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Have yet to see one of those too, you know.
Yeah.
I want to see it all, man. But first, I got to see a Bigfoot.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to see an alien. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
As long as they're good, as long as they're the good one, because there's good ones and bad ones, you know. And then they have the Nordic people, the ones that look like the Vikings, I guess you could say, you know.
Yeah.
And you have the insectoids, the reptilians, the greys.
Yeah, people have talked about like big mantids, you know.
Yeah.
Like praying mantis looking
Right.
entities. Man.
Yeah. People have sent me drawings, you know, and stuff that they've seen, and one of them was the mantis looking drawing. Yeah, the
Bring a big ass
reptilians.
life water on that trip.
Be a kind of raid.
Great. I'm gonna
With the
fall. I'm
backpack.
gonna fogger.
There you go. You got one of those backpacks.
What's that milky insect? Diazinon.
Yeah.
That stuff right there will kill
I bring some.
anything.
I bring some DDT.
Or that too.
Well, enough to survive.
Damn, I'm gonna start looking for those guys next. That sounds fun.
Why not? You know what I mean?
Why not, man? You know what I want to know is the time we were out at Sam Houston. I think Ernie was with us, and I just planted audio. I just turned it on, said the date, whatever, and then we heard that roar or what?
That growl.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that right there. I've never heard anything like it since.
Well, it's like I was telling you, man. I was blowing that damn dog whistle. I blew it like 4 or 5 times, and as soon as I stopped, that's when we heard that growl.
Yeah.
And we all kind of looked at each other. What the heck was that? You know. And at that time, I don't know if you remember, but Ernie said it sounded mechanical. That was the first time I ever heard anyone describe it like that. And then as I started watching like more and more Dogman stuff, and people were describing it as mechanical sounding. And I was always wondered if that's where, if that's what the same thing that he heard. Because I know we never really talked about it for whatever reason. But until that time Big Dog was on my show and you put it sounded canine. I thought so too. I thought it was more canine than anything. You know,
dude, I felt there was a lion out there or something.
Yeah,
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's when we first started SBA. I think.
Yeah,
and
that's probably what early on.
I posted. I could probably find it, and it said, "There's lions out here in Sam Houston National Forest or something."
Yeah, right. And if you remember right, that's the first time we met David Glass too. I think.
I didn't meet David Glass then.
Oh, you know what? I think he came out there the night before, and then you came out there the next night, but he had went home the next. That's him. So I think I missed. I think
I did finally meet him in Jefferson.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, man.
He is.
He's got a badass van too, for that matter.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't care what he buys. He makes it look badass, and there's a name for it.
And everything fits in his van perfectly, doesn't it?
I haven't seen inside his van.
Everything's great, man. I've been in his van a couple of times, and everything's nice and snug, man. There's plenty of room for you to move around.
Posey Hollow.
Posse Hollow.
Posse?
Posse? I don't know. Posey?
Is that? I wonder what state that's in.
Yeah, where's that at?
Where's that at? I've never even heard of it.
Sounds cool.
It might be right around the corner from my house.
Never
Our
heard of
neighborhood
here.
was built on top of it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. That sounds pretty cool.
Maybe we can get them to let us know where it's at. So.
Well, Joe, go ahead.
I was gonna say, when I first moved out to San Antonio area, it didn't take me long before I started talking to people about Bigfoot, and I started hearing all kinds of stories out there too, man. And one of the guys that I talked to, where I was working at, he came into work and he had a Bigfoot shirt on, right? And I said, I'm gonna go talk to the guy. I said, hey man, I said, what's up with your shirt? He says, oh man, he says, I believe in Bigfoot. I said, really? He goes, yeah, man, me and my dad both believe in Bigfoot. And that he had one of his older bosses back like in the 70s, because his older boss, he was like in his 80s already. He was an old man. But back in the 70s, he was out at Canyon Lake, and he was fishing out there, and he had like this little houseboat. I don't know what kind of houseboat it was. It was like, I guess, like a makeshift houseboat. And he said for whatever reason, he woke up like at 2 o'clock in the morning and got up and walked outside onto the pier, and there was just Squatch standing out there right at the end of the pier, about knee deep in water. And he went inside and got his son, and they hit it with a spotlight. He said they saw it really good, really clear, and it just walked off, along the bank until they got around the corner and took it. They didn't see it.
You always hear that. It's like they're just like, oh hell, I gotta get out.
And somebody had asked me one time about, what do you think it was doing out there at the end of the pier? And the only thing I could think of, it took me a while to think about it, but I know when I've gone fishing before, if they have like those little sinks out there, you gut your fish and clean it and just store right there in the lake.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if maybe that's what it was looking for, scraps.
Or or some kind of
Possibly.
shellfish or something,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and then I met my other friend of mine that was we still keep in touch too. Is Larry? Larry's his name, and he lives out there in Canyon Lake. He actually has a house right along the
You told me
Guadalupe.
about him. Him and his
Yeah,
daughter
yeah,
had
and
a sighting.
yeah, yeah. They had he saw it. She didn't, but it freaked him out pretty good because it came down along over the sill onto the bank, and it just separated the bushes and peered out. Actually, he said it separated like this with his hands, with the palms together, and it looked out. He said it was. He said you could tell it was a female. Yeah, right there. And
So
yeah, we've talked about going out there. That's
Yeah.
private property, like 26,000 acres, man.
What?
Private property. Yeah, private property, man. Yeah.
There's probably a T-Rex out there. Nobody knows about it.
You know, like in some of these, yes, and like in some of these groups, people are like, how can something that big hide out there? You must have never been in the forest.
No kidding.
You could put a tank out there and you wouldn't see it.
I think a lot of people think that going to your well-manicured campsite surrounding a lake and there's a little cement driveway that goes up to your picnic table and
Right?
Mhm.
That's the woods.
we're in the great outdoors.
Yeah.
You're basically in your backyard, just in another area.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're basically doing somewhere else that you could do in your backyard.
Yeah, you shouldn't even have driven.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
So
That's
the
great
boat-
for some people, man. That's great.
Yeah, man, that's good. And I'm not saying I would never do it. I just haven't done it in forever. I don't know if I would ever go back and do it unless it was someone who was really, really scared of doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
And by that I just mean like a woman. I'm like, if a guy doesn't want to do that, I'm not going out there with him.
So Posey Hollow, it says 5 to 8 miles northeast of Shelley, South. Are we talking Shelley, Austin?
Arkansas,
Maybe.
I think so.
Okay.
Man, Arkansas is very mysterious.
Yeah.
Brian and I were there. Was it October,
September, wasn't it?
September?
September.
Getting to talking to the locals and people who live in the surrounding areas.
Yep. Shelley, Austin. So
Oh, okay. It's
might be
interesting.
worth checking out.
Yeah. There's just so much stuff to check out.
Northeast.
So many places, not nearly enough time.
No.
Yeah, even like the Sam Houston. I mean, I'm always going to different places, and it's like I don't have enough time to really cover. Sam Houston's huge. I mean, because you got on both sides of the freeway on 45. And I'm limited on my game cameras. I'm limited on my recorders. Like I got a couple of game cameras out there right now that I wanted to go pick up today, but I wasn't able to. So hopefully next weekend I can go out there and pick them up.
Man, I have. Okay. Yeah, game cameras, that's a job.
Hmm.
I take a telescoping ladder with me because, everything's, for the most part, up high. And downloading all the pictures, checking batteries. You got to clock in for that kind of work, sir.
Time and money.
So you go up high with yours. I go down low with mine.
We have some that are high and some that are
Okay.
low.
Okay. Almost all of mine, I just put them low on the ground.
Well, we had one low, and it was where Brian and I actually saw a footprint in the sand. It was like on the hill, just right on the cusp of going down. And there was a print, 5-toed print, and then we could see prints in like the game trail that kind of went out away from that hill. And
Okay.
the only print that was really visible was that one. The other ones were just that same size, and then they were spaced out in a right and left kind of convention. And we put a camera low there. 'Cause if it's a little one, they're not going to know, right?
Right.
Okay.
All right.
I'm in, I'm out.
Yeah, the
But,
camera deal too for us is, I mean, sometimes I think there's a couple spots for us at Squatch Creek we need them high. just because of where we have them in relation to who may come by.
Okay.
So we want to make it a challenge for them to take them. So
Now, we did have one load, too, that picked up a lioness. Told you about that, right?
No.
I tell you about that, Joe?
No.
Oh, yeah, dude. In the same day, the same time, within the same minute, you see a big steer walk by.
Huh.
Right after that, there's a picture of a lioness. Not a mountain lion. An
a
African lion.
true African female lion.
Damn, that's crazy.
I'll send you the picture, dude. You'll trip out.
Okay.
You just got to promise me you won't spray it around because the game warden was persistent, right, Brian?
Yeah,
put
he
it
told
on
us not to
social
share it on
media?
any social media right now.
That's
But
crazy.
yeah, welcome to Oklahoma, where we have lions running around. So
We started calling that place Jumanji.
Bigfoot, lions, and gators. So,
Gators. Yeah, there's a gator, too. You never know, man, what's in the woods. I don't care. Unless you're out in it and you're recording it, you don't know what's going on.
Yep. Have y'all tried Plot Watchers?
Huh.
Not sure what Plot Watchers is.
Let me take a look. I've got some. Let's see. Plot Watcher. Oh, it's a pro trail camera. I guess it's a type of trail camera that I'm probably going to look into.
And Shane's going to buy, and we're going to start using them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down.
Plot Watchers. What's up, Daniel Hall?
Are they mobile cameras?
I didn't. There's so many websites to get on there. Let me see. Let's see. It's that. Oh, those are cool looking. They're more like of a bullet shape.
There you go.
Or-
Mark gave us a description. So
It doesn't use IR.
Takes a picture every second, but it's okay. Perfect. Thanks, Mark. Okay. Well, let me see where they're selling these and what they retail for.
$1 million.
I know, right? Usually these things are like between 1 and 160 or something like that. I'll have to look into it for sure. I like that.
a picture every second. Will be a lot of photos though.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I've got this camera, and it's set on this vegetation because Brian and them were out there, and they noticed this big area of this kind of sedge-looking grass was just obliterated in this one spot, pulled out, whatever. It's still like that, Brian. There's still a big hole right there.
It's weird.
So there's a camera out there. Well, anyways, it's on the water and the wind. So when I go out there and check that camera, dude, easy, it's like 7,000 pictures every 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
I'm not even caught up.
Oh, here we go. Now we're talking.
Okay.
Puts the pictures in a movie format. Now that
Oh,
was
I
speeded
love
up.
that.
Yeah.
Love
I like that.
That's
Go check those out.
Yeah. Yeah, we might have to switch those out. Hey, I've also got a cell link box that Mr. B wanted me to test that plugs into any camera, and it'll send it to your phone, no matter what camera it is.
Cool.
Yeah.
I got a camera with no IR. I can give that to you next time I see you and hook it to it.
Okay.
I can't remember what they call it, but it has no IR. So
I want to stick one over there where you found those tracks where the right foot was turned in. Kind of like
by the beaver.
Yeah. Beaver City.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always work to do, right?
Yep. That's the game.
That's right. Work to do. Well,
Joe, you coming to Oklahoma anytime soon?
Somebody invites me up there. I got nobody to go up there with.
Come on.
Dude, you can drive to my house. You can hop in the Jeep, and then I'll drive that way.
Yeah. Go to Squatch Creek with us.
Yeah,
Okay.
dude. Seriously.
I'll be happy to do. Yeah, I'll be happy to do it. Yeah. Let's make something happen. I don't think I have anything planned until February.
Okay.
I'm game. So actually, I talked to Ernie a little bit a couple days ago about
Yeah.
going to Squatch Creek, and so I may head out there next. I mean, I went out there. When did I go, Shane? Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went Friday, but we'll probably go again in December. So
I don't know about you. Every time I hear Ernie, I just start to smile or laugh. Man. 'Cause that-
Oh, man.
Ernie's the funniest guy without
Yeah.
even trying.
every time
My
I see his
wife-
picture, I just smile. So
My wife met him in Jefferson. She absolutely loves that dude. You know,
He's hilarious.
Ernie should be president.
Yeah, I think he should be. At least the governor of Texas.
there you go. That's a good start.
Yes, he'd be great.
Yeah, him and his wild hair now.
I know, right? His long-
And I just like his profile picture. So
I
That's
know,
the-
right? The
Aborigine.
Aborigine
Yeah, he's had it for years, right?
I know.
He's never changed it.
looks nothing like him. That's just his representation of himself. Man. It's hilarious. Oh my god. Whew.
He's something
Well,
else.
you got anything else you want to bring up? Chat about?
No, I think.
Plug your next show.
Well, my latest show came out today,
Yeah,
of
that
course,
was
at
today.
6. And then my next show, it'll be next Sunday.
Man, so you do it every Sunday then?
Yeah, every Sunday about 1 o'clock if I can. If not, every now and then I'll do about 6. But for the most part, I stay at 1. I was doing
No.
Saturday and Sunday shows, but man, that was getting crazy.
No, I like your time frame, man. It just kind of like comes out of nowhere. Boom, there it is, and you want to watch it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And so it's my website was supposed to be up and running today, but my buddy had to take his mom to the emergency room. So I'll have a website hopefully in the next couple of days. BeyondTheWoodline.com. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for you,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Anybody got some interesting stories, man? Hit me up. Find me on Facebook.
Yeah,
Definitely.
y'all.
So.
Joe's a great guy to chat with.
Mm-hmm.
We love you, Joe, man.
Yeah, I love you guys
Exactly.
too, man.
Yeah. We definitely try to come up if you can.
Yeah,
Like
man.
Shane
Yeah,
said, if
sure.
you can get to him, then y'all carpool on up. That'd be awesome. So,
Okay.
especially if
dude.
we can wrap Ernie up in that trip, that'd be
Yeah,
Oh
man.
my god.
Yeah. Have him come pick me up. I have to drive it all.
There you go.
Ooh, there you go.
Uber Ernie. So-
Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Well, the last time I went on a trip with him, we had to change his brakes at an AutoZone, and he took his shirt off. So
Yeah. That's when
Yeah,
he's
that
really
one-
getting into it.
yeah,
Now we're
that-
talking.
Yeah, that wasn't a very pretty sight. So
Well, don't you remember when it was summer and it was hot and we came back to camp and Ernie was there and he had his shirt off? I was like, what's going on over here?
yeah, man, he was just walking around no shirt on. But what was funny? I'll tell the story real quick. I know we gotta let go, but yeah. So on his way to my house, you got those speed bumps, right? Well, he didn't pay attention to him, and he said by the time he saw it, he already hit the speed bump and hit his brakes. So I think it jammed his brake. But anyway, he said he was going so fast. He had his seatbelt on, but he still hit the roof of his head on the roof of his car.
Dang.
So my house is only like 2 streets away from this area. So he picks me up and says, "Hey, do you want to drive?" I said, "Yeah, I'll drive." I get to the corner of my street and I kind of press the brakes, and the car pulls real hard to the right. I said, "Man, why's your truck pulling so hard?" His Jeep. So why is it pulling so hard? He goes, "I don't know." So man, we drive for like 5 miles, right? And we stop again, and it pulls to the right. I said, "Dude, something's wrong with your truck, man. Your Jeep."
Yeah.
So we get on the freeway, and at this time we drive. I don't know from Houston to Spring. I don't know, good 15 miles. And I hit the brake a couple times on the freeway, and you could feel the Jeep pulling to the right. So we exit. We go to AutoZone. That tire is smoking hot, man. It is hot. Yeah, because the brakes were locked in there.
Yeah.
So we wind up changing the caliper and everything.
Ooh,
Right there. Yeah.
good times.
Yeah, good times. Good times.
The memories.
And he took his shirt off, went back inside the store with his shirt off, and the women were like, "What are you doing?" the women gave him a hard time. It was funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Only Ernie, man.
Well, maybe we can get that worked out where you guys could come up. Ernie.
That
Yeah,
would
man.
be so cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm down, dude.
Well, Shane, you got anything else?
No, man. Just it was great to talk to Joe.
Yeah,
man.
it's been a
It's good
while.
talking to you. Yeah, it's good talking to you
Oh.
guys, man. Yeah. Well, me and Shane keep in
Right.
touch, more or less.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we
Well,
do, man.
let's not be strangers.
No, man.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I'll come and sit on my throne every now and then at the SBA.
There you go.
It's probably got a
There you go,
thumbtack
man.
in it. It's probably got a thumbtack in it now.
Oh,
We would do that to you.
no, dude. Hey, and I want to make it back out to Sam Houston at some time.
Yeah, man. And the Davy Crockett, man. I've been out there a couple of times.
Oh,
You
I want
know.
to go out
Yeah.
there too.
Been out there a couple of times, and I just don't have anyone to go out there with, man. That's all. But yeah, man. Let's get together, dude.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark. All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up, man. I know we're a day early.
We are.
It's because of our good buddy Joe, so he can get some sleep.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
not a problem. Well,
Okay.
Joe, thank you for coming on, buddy.
Thank you
man.
for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime, brother. Okay. Well, we're going to take off, people. See you later.